Hi FlossTube, this is Karen with KB Studio Creations.
And Jason with Karen, obviously driving her crazy because I started this a little bit early.
I'm trying to find something to help with this, so...
Oh really? It's going to help. Interesting. So, we have a lot to go over today. I blame Karen.
I blame Jason.
No, it's you, because I'll have my reasonings later. Okay, so, we have... I think we're starting with Karen's starts. She's got 2 of them.
Okay, so which one are we starting with?
Well,
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, so last week we talked about the kit we got from Stitch.ly as to review. And so I started one of the pieces. So I thought, this is part of my haul, but I'm going to try this. There we go. So this is the pieces.
These are the patterns.
Yeah. So you can kind of see. And I started the elephants.
So she started this one here. Okay.
So that's how far I got. So I'm enjoying stitching for the most part. However, the one thing is this needle is really long. It glides really well through the fabric, but it is the longest needle I've ever used. So I might switch and use a needle I have. But I got started. And this fabric is 14 count white Aida that came with the kit. The colors came with the kit. Pattern, of course, came with the kit.
They're DMC colors.
Yeah, they appear to be equivalent to DMC. So I don't know if they're exactly DMC, but they appear to be DMC. So.
Yep.
And also, I wanted to mention with that, I saw on their Instagram that they are giving away some free kits. So.
Ooh.
I will have them linked below. So you may want to go check that out.
And I'm going to give a very thorough review sometime during this video. I want to make it clear, though, I highly recommend these kits for beginning stitchers. I'm going to give some recommendations and modifications.
Which they sent us a survey, and I think he said those in the survey.
Oh, yeah, and I'll talk about that later. But your other start.
Okay. So, I'm not going to pull up the pattern right now, because we'll do it later. But so on the Quilting Bee by Blue Flower, so Jason's stitching it, but I've been just taking the motifs and let's see, which way does this go? This way. It doesn't really matter. I've been stitching some of these motifs using orts. So I did this one, and it's a start and a finish. I figure I have room for 2 more small ones on this. And then I'm thinking to just make these into cards. So when I send giveaways or other things.
I feel like she could just make them into... The best thing that I can describe it is turning them into scrapbooking stickers to put in her journal.
My
but
CrossStitch journal.
She doesn't want to do that.
I think that would be fun to, I don't know. We'll see. My intention when I started it was to use them for like cards. For when I send people cards. Because I don't have that many cards anymore. I've used most of them up. So I figure I can make my own cards because I have a bunch of scrapbooking supplies since we have not scrapbooked in a number of years. So we still have the supplies, but we haven't been doing it. So. Okay.
Now my starts.
Yes.
I started this one, which is Welcome to Erebor. This designer, it is by Country Magic Stitch.
On Etsy.
On Etsy. Apparently there's a countrymagicstitch.com too. But anyway, I found her on Etsy. A friend of mine told me about her or him. I don't know now that I think about it. I think it's her. But they have a series of national park posters like that, where it's like Zion, Yosemite, Arches, and a few others. But they mostly have these big it's supposed to end up being poster-like. Cross-stitch designs for mythical places. So there's one for Hogwarts. This one's from The Hobbit. They have places from Lord of the Rings, from Game of Thrones, these fantasy type settings. So I have gotten this far. So I wanted to get a lot farther, but I did other things, and so I didn't get through as much as I would have liked.
That's on 14 count white Aida, right?
Yeah, 14 count white Aida. In the end, it won't matter because it's full coverage.
It is full coverage, though.
So that was my first start. My second start is, you'll be very proud of me, I finally started Millie's Year for February. Karen stitched all the odd number months, and I'm going to do all the even number months. So there's my start. I did this yesterday. We watched Disney Presents Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella, and then we'll watch the live action Cinderella as well. Because I got in a stitching mood to stitch on this, and I got that far. My goal is to have it done by the end of the month, because we are making these based off of people in our lives to reflect. I don't know. It's part of the diversity and inclusion SAL.
Which I started doing that before the diversity and inclusion SAL, but when the diversity and inclusion SAL started, I, of course, started tagging this with it because it fit right in.
And I loved that idea. And as Karen's birthday was yesterday, so her birthday is in February, I'm basing this version of Millie off of Karen. So, because I have to include... If we're going to do a whole bunch of women in our lives, we're going to, like, I'm going to stitch a Karen. Period. End of story. That's just how it's going to be. So, I started that yesterday. I got... I don't know, I would say over halfway done.
Yeah.
With
the stitching, at least.
With the stitching. With this month. So, those are my 2 starts.
Well, what about that one?
No, I'm talking about that later.
Okay.
Because next we have our whips. Oh,
so
I'm talking about my whips.
starts and finishes, but he doesn't want to do those yet.
I'm going to do those when we get to finishes.
Okay.
So, my next one is my whip. We're going to go to our whips. And this is the Quilting Bee.
By the Blue Flower.
By the Blue Flower. And I've basically finished the bee. I just need to do some fill-in on the wings. But there's a little section of it that's not showing. Because I folded it funky. Hold on. It just looks better when I can zoom in on it. So.
And this is on a mystery fabric. We don't know what it is. Don't even know what type of cloth it is. Because it's weird. It's like it's 14 count, but it's not like Ada.
Sorry, my needle's falling off. Okay. But that's where I'm at. I'm now just filling in the wings, and then the bee will be done. I'm just working on that every Sunday, and hopefully it'll be done by May.
Because he's going to send it to his mom to fully finish, and then it's going to be a gift for his sister for Christmas.
Yep. I think the outside is going to be the hardest part.
Yeah, there's a lot of color changes and stuff.
Yeah. So, that was my whip. What are your whips, Karen?
Oh, we're going to go to my whips.
Yep, we're going to your whips.
So, I worked on the 100 Embroidery SAL. So, this one that stuff's already been done. So, now we're on to the second page. And I got some more. I don't remember which ones. I think those ones were done last time.
And I think it's these 4.
4, yeah.
The bouillon stitch, the feather stitch, the chain stitch, and the whipped back stitch. So, bouillon stitch, feather stitch, which to me looks like feather fan coral. Is what it looks like to me. Chain stitch, which there are 2 different methods.
Yeah, well, it's the same method.
And the whipped back stitch. It's just one's a little tighter.
Yeah, one's a little tighter, and then one's in metallic thread and one's in...
I love that whipped back stitch. It creates like a candy cane effect.
Yeah, I was thinking
you can't see it. Oh.
Yeah, but it
looks really cool.
And that is just on some 14 count natural Ada, and that was available through Fiber Artists of Facebook. It's a group on Facebook, which I will link below. But they only released 33. It's the 100 embroidery SAL, but they ended up only releasing 33. So I'm hoping to get that finished this year. I think I definitely will. I've been doing like 1 or 2 a week. This week I only did 1 because I was going to do a second one, but then I said beaded, and I was like, I'm not in a mood to pull out beads. So the next few have beads in them, so I'm going to probably pull out some beads left over from a Mill Hill kit and use those for doing the beaded test stitch.
For the record, you've done 23, so you only have 10 more to do. If you don't finish it this year, I will be shocked.
I'll finish it this year.
Ooh.
I'm trying to get some of my my older things finished, as well as just getting some things finished before Stitchmaynia when I start a bunch of new starts. So I also worked on Celtic Summer by Lavender and Lace. And this was my focus piece for January, and then I kept working on it some. I was going to have it be my focus piece for March, but I am burned out on it, so I will be putting this away for a month at least.
Hence why this is not in its Q-snaps.
It's like, it's going to get put up for now. But I did finish all this section here. There's still a lot of empty space because, of course, there's going to be Kreinik and beads, but I was kept making a bunch of mistakes, and so that's part of why I think I'm feeling burned out on it.
Lots of frogging makes one not happy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm really happy with the progress I've made, but it is going to go away for a while. And I think next month...
For the record, this little blip here is part of the border. Mm-hmm. I was like, what is that? That can't be part of her dress.
So when I had some colors from here that were left over, when I had a longer string, I came up here and used it on that medallion.
But anyway, that's where it's at.
Oh, and that's just on 28 count mystery linen.
But it's super pretty.
It's going to go away, and I'm going to focus on model stitching next month because I have a lot of model stitching I need to work on. So that'll be my focus piece for next month. So the next one.
Is there a picture of it in here? Or do you need your... Oh, you need that. Okay. Oh, so sorry.
I'm going to try to look up a picture and show you.
Bumped everything.
Maybe.
But it's Onward Noble Steed.
By Lindy Stitches.
On 14 count hand-dyed Ada. Next one will be from Across the Stitch.
Oh, that was a message, something from last time.
Oh, okay. But this is where she's at on it, working on the dragon. Right? It's going to be a dragon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that variegated floss?
Yeah. So I'm using some... So far, I'm using floss that I got in a mystery grab bag from Color and Cotton. So these are both ones, and they don't have any names. They're just mystery. Let's see. So I found the pattern. I wanted to see if there's a picture. And this is a freebie on her website. It is here. Okay. So that's what the finished looks like. So hopefully you can kind of see that. So I'm just picking my own colors. And like I said, I'm using some Color Cottons right now. And it's part of the Diversity Inclusion SAL, Representation Matters SAL. And yeah, I listen to it while I listen to things about, my brain's not working right now.
You're listening to things about how to be more aware of racism and institutional racism and cultural racism.
And overcoming it and stuff like that while I work on these pieces. So yeah. And that was just on some hand-dyed Ada. And the next one is Cinderella Slipper. So this is my focus piece for this month. And so that's why we watched 2 Cinderella movies yesterday. We were watching them as I stitched on this piece.
Okay.
And I started this 2 years ago for my birthday SAL. So that's what it looks like when it's done. And it is from...
It takes a long, long time, as those who stitch know.
So it's from CrossStitch, October 2018. And I'll let you hold it up.
It's coming along.
I am making some good progress this month. So this is on 28 count opalescent Lugana that I hand dyed. So I've been working up in this area. And so I think next week I'm going to try to get this area here done. And then I'll probably put it away. Because I'm not burned out on it yet, but I'm getting there. So I figure if I can get at least that much more done.
I think you wouldn't get as burned out on it if you did some of the like beading in other colors. Because there's some grays in here too.
I don't think so. There is some gray in some of these areas, but...
You'd probably still get burned out.
Yeah. But I'm hoping I can at least get this much done, and then I'll go back to doing it like once or twice a month. So.
But it's coming along. It's looking really good.
I'm pretty sure I'm over halfway now. So that's... I've used...
I said you're over halfway last night. You're like, no. I'm almost halfway maybe.
I don't know. But I have used so far, I believe 9 skeins of black. So it calls for 12 skeins of black. So I'm getting there. And then there's the gray and the beads and the Kreinik and stuff. But I'm really happy with my progress I made. And I will hopefully have some more good progress to show you next time. Well, yeah, next time. Next time we do a regular video. There's going to be another video next week, hopefully, that we're going to record today, but about my Animal Face series that I'm releasing. So that video, and then the next time when I do a regular update, it should have more progress. So finishes?
Yep.
So I've been working on this Loving Patchwork by Buttercup Designs, Michelle M. Lash. I do not have
the pattern to show because we sent it.
We sent it off because I gave it away in a giveaway last time. So if you want to see what the pattern looks like, you can go to the last
show notes, or you can go to the last video.
Right. Not the show notes, just the last video.
Okay.
But basically, I just took the shape of the heart and filled it in with DMC 4210. Was that it? I think so.
Hmm?
Yeah, 4210. And this is on some 14 count antique white Aida. I did the love in white. I don't know how I'm going to fully finish this, but I had fun stitching it. And I like how it looks.
It looks really good, yeah. I love it. Pun intended.
Mm-hmm. And then the other one is one of my Ort works, where I just use Orts to do a pattern. So that's what the pattern looks like. And it's from Just CrossStitch Ornaments 2019. So this is on some 32 count oyster linen. However, it is not even. It is an uneven weave. So that should be symmetrical, like
perfectly symmetrical on all four sides.
And it's not.
I think one of the things I saw it turned into was a biscornio. Like, this was a really small biscornio.
I've never seen it as a biscornio. But...
Oh, I thought somebody had done it as a biscornio. Maybe I was looking online or something. I don't know. But it's perfectly symmetrical on all four sides, and it's not on this linen.
And so the pattern has like a little charm here in the center, so I don't know if I'm going to do anything or just leave it blank like that. I don't know how I'm going to fully finish it. It might just go... I have no idea. But
we'll find out later. And then I have two starts and finishes. Both of these I started and I finished. The first one is the rainbow pattern from the Stitch.ly box. And this is what it looks like. Karen designed and we stitched, well, mostly she stitched the text.
But then I made some mistakes, so he finished it and modified it to try to, I don't know, make it look better.
Anyway.
It was after 10 o'clock at night. I shouldn't have been stitching.
Shouldn't have been designing either, but I really wanted to finish this so I could just be like, it's fully finished. I have it done.
And so tell them what it says, since they probably can't read it.
It says, I like to look for rainbows.
And that's part of a song from our church's Songs for Kids. So.
Yeah. So anyway, I did this. And so, yeah, we can talk about that later.
About what later?
Other stuff.
Okay.
The other thing that I got was designed by RingCat. Where is it? There we go. This is stitched on Aida.
I don't know what Aida you used. It looks like it's maybe dyed.
I don't know. No, it's not dyed.
It looks like it's maybe 18 count.
Anyway, mystery Aida, because I didn't. So, okay, I'm really proud of this. Karen's birthday was yesterday, as you know, and so I wanted to get something for her, but she doesn't really need anything. She has lots of wants, but I was trying to keep it kind of simple. And so I'm very proud of myself on this one. This is the very first thing that I've done where I picked the pattern, the colors, the fabric, the finishing method, and then started and fully finished it all by myself. Mm-hmm. And it's I'll Always Love You. And then the owl has like a little heart in the center, and it's got 3 hearts in it, and it's just so cute.
And I love it.
And in the original pattern, it's pink, but I changed it to purple because Karen likes purple. And yeah, and it says, I'll always love you. So I did this for her birthday. So happy birthday.
I love it. It's so wonderful. I was so happy when he gave it to me.
So, okay. I got tired of trying to stitch behind her back because I can't do it. She's here all day and I have to go to work and then come home. So she has time. If she wants to do a surprise for me, she can do it. I can't do it. She's always here. And so I got tired of trying to stitch behind her back. And so I just, whenever I finished stitching it, I showed it to her and was like, hey, happy birthday. I still need to fully finish this. But the idea of trying to fully finish it without her seeing, that wasn't going to work. So, yeah.
But he did a really good job. I love it. So pretty.
Yeah. So, very pretty.
So that's all of our stitching.
And that's why Karen was like, you did so much. I still didn't do as much as she did. But yes, I think this is the most stitching I've done in a week. Or in a 2-week period of this video series.
Yeah. So, design and shop. Like I mentioned earlier, my animal faces patterns are coming. I should be able to release them next week, and I will record a video today. We'll record a video today that we will release when we release those patterns. So, I'm hoping next week sometime. And there will be two tutorials as well that'll come out. Also, just a side note, I released a freebie heart card. It's basically a coloring page. I'll try to insert a picture since I didn't have anything printed out. But basically, you can print it out. You can color it. It's for free on my Gumroad. And the link to my Gumroad will be down below where I have all my freebies. What's up?
Are you done?
Yeah.
We're going on to haul?
Yeah.
Okay. What? That's annoying.
Where is the haul stuff?
It's right here below.
Oh. So one thing we got.
That's why it says under sheet.
Oh, I was wondering what that was about. So we got the next just CrossStitch issue. So this is the April. I was a little sad when I got it just because I was supposed to have a pattern in here, but it got bumped because they didn't have enough space. But that's okay. It happens. As a magazine designer, I understand that sometimes things don't fit. But it's still, like, there's nothing that really stood out to us, I think, that we were like, ooh, I really want to stitch it in this one. Like, it's got some cute things, but there was nothing like, oh, wow. So, yeah, I think the closest thing, I don't know if you can see this, I do like this St. Patrick's Day Scornio. So that was
I think that was the only thing that really stood out.
Yeah, but though I do love the fabric on this one. That's so pretty, that fabric.
The idea of, like, trying to find that exact fabric to make it work, because I feel like this works so well because it's got this strand of pink here in the middle, and finding one that's got that same strand of pink in the same exact spot would be so hard.
No, you couldn't find one that's exactly the same, but I think it would still look good on
the
any variation.
lavender pink fabric. Mm-hmm. It would, but I think it really looks good on how anyway, yeah.
So for the diversity inclusion SAL, once I finish on the Nova Steed, I'm going to start this one. This is the one I mentioned last time. It is from Across the Stitch on Etsy, and I don't know if you probably can't read it, but it says
if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. From Maya Angelou.
So I'm excited to stitch that one.
I'm excited for it too, because if you look, she's got the threads next to it. It is not variegated. That is like threads, and I'm excited to see it.
So it'll kind of be a lot of work, but I think it'll look really good in the end. So I'm excited.
I think it's the same amount of work as my Welcome to Erebor.
I don't think it's as much work as that. It's a lot smaller.
Oh, it's smaller?
Yeah, this is this is 160 by 217. How big is the Erebor?
I don't know. It's underneath everything.
Well,
literally.
We'll pull it out because that's part of the haul too.
Okay. This one is 100. It's already started.
Oh, okay. So we got cut off because Jason's phone ran out of space, so we're trying my phone to finish up. So we were talking about whether my purchase was bigger or his. And mine is actually bigger, but his is full coverage. Mine is not full coverage. So
I still think hers is going to be more intense.
It does have a lot of back stitching.
But anyway, to continue with haul, this was one of the things I got this week.
From, what was it again?
From Country Magic Stitch.
Yeah, on Etsy. And then he also got, it's not that, it's that, yeah.
Oh, okay. It's tempted.
So part of my haul was this Kindle Fire. So that's what we're trying to get used to using.
Yeah. So this was the other pattern, once again by RingCat. As you can see, this design starts out in pink. But super cute. It's on Etsy. I love RingCat's designs. They're quick one-day stitches. And they're really good for beginners, I think, because it's very simple back stitching, and because it's only the letters, and then all of her stitches are just full stitches, so it's really quick and easy to just knock it out. But those were my buys.
So then I also so Lindy Stitches, if you're part of her newsletter, she has this new thing where she'll send you a free pattern on your birthday. So I got that, and it's really cute. So
Wish I had known that, because then I would have stitched that for her. But no, I'm kidding.
I mean, I got it yesterday. It comes in the mail on your birthday.
Right, and you will probably want to be stitching that.
Yeah, I'm probably only going to stitch part of the pattern, my favorite part of the pattern, but.
So I stitch the other part?
I mean, if you want to.
We'll see. I have enough things to stitch right now.
You do.
Because I'm insane. Like, you guys, I don't ever stitch this much. I have, 5 patterns? 4 patterns? Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patterns that I've worked on this year.
Yeah.
Or the past 2 weeks. This year.
Well, I don't think you worked on anything else this year either.
True. But to be working on 5 patterns and have already finished 2 this early in the year, that's pretty good for me.
Okay. So I also got a Kindle Fire 8.
With a case.
And a case. And I will link this below. So I was originally going to use my Christmas money to get one. One thing I don't like is it has ads at your open screen. Not a fan of that, but whatever. But it wasn't on sale anymore after Christmas, and so I was like, oh, I'm not going to do it. So I finally was like, oh, I'm just going to start spending my Christmas money. The next day, guess what I saw? An ad on Facebook that these were on sale. So this was Christmas money, fun money, and then Jason was graciously gave me a bunch of birthday money so I could pay for the
free credit on our fun monies.
But one of the reasons I got this, I don't know if you can see it right there, I got Pattern Keeper. So I've started using it a little bit. I've put a bunch of patterns in. The HAED that I'm going to start during Stitchmaynia, as well as a bunch of models I'm stitching. I want to try to get
it doesn't work with all patterns.
It does not work with all patterns.
So sad.
It did not work really with this pattern.
Like I even went in and did like the manual put in thing that they tell you to do if it doesn't go in.
For the shape of the pattern. But it didn't pick up the symbols, unfortunately.
So it's not something that I can use, which I'm not. I'm super excited about this.
But I'm looking for it. It doesn't support backstitching, which is, they say they're working on that. So that makes it harder to use on some patterns. And it also doesn't, fancy floss, you have to...
Yeah, this doesn't show anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to print it out. It's on 4 pages and I taped it together. And this honestly is like the best way for me to do this. Karen's like, I don't see how people can do it that way. But this is how I need to do this pattern and I'm enjoying it.
Well, being that he's marking it off. He's got the color version, not the just symbol version, and he's marking it off using a Sharpie, which I would not put a Sharpie anywhere close to my stitching, except for that I do have one next to my stitching, but that's just so I can write it on the bobbins, the numbers on the bobbins. But I can keep my stitching away from that.
Which I think is hilarious. Every time I go to like pull out my Sharpie with the stitching right next to, she's just like, yeah.
I'm the same way. Like people say they use highlighters on their patterns, and I'm like, I use the colored pencil.
Yep.
But anyways, I am looking forward to use Pattern Keeper. I've tried it out a little bit, and yeah, I'm excited to use it. I'm going to try to make my patterns available on there. And like I said, it doesn't work for Fancy Floss, so I'm thinking for the ones that I have Fancy Floss for, I'm going to do the DMC conversion for the Pattern Keeper version. Yeah. So that's my thoughts. I'm really loving this. I'm also using it to read books, of course, and that's mostly read books and Pattern Keeper. That's the main reasons I got it.
And that's our haul. Yep. So I want to take a moment, talk about the Stitchly box that we got.
Okay.
Before I just say anything, I want to say that this is a great product in my opinion. They are not paying us to say anything.
They just gave us the...
They gave everything to her. I am a step removed in my opinion. And so I'm giving my honest opinion. They have not asked me to. They are not paying me to. This is not an advertisement. If anything, this is a critique. And like we said, they sent us a survey so then we could give them our critique. So they're a company that's honestly taking this into account.
They're wanting feedback, good and bad.
So like you can see, the hoops that they send with it are beautiful and they're great for finishing. But like I told you last time, I wanted to do this pattern so then I could take the book that comes with it step by step and give an honest review of the entirety of the kit in its intention.
And this pattern was the pattern that had it printed on the...
Right, it was printed on the fabric, which worried me. But in the end, as you can see, it turned out not fine. It turned out not causing issues. It turned out fine. I combined those sentences in a bad way. But as you can see, this hoop is really small, and the needles are honking huge. They are like surgical needles. They are insanely big. And so trying to secure the thread at the end was a big pain. I just stitched the red in the hoop, and then I couldn't take any more. I don't stitch in hoops for a reason. I just don't like it. But I tried it their way just to give it a shot and see what it was like. The instructions in the book are a little bit in the wrong order, in my opinion. Still solid instructions. I didn't follow their finishing instructions because their finishing instructions said to just put it in the hoop, pull it really tight, and cut it flush with the hoop. I would be worried that it would pop out. It might stay secured in there. I just would be worried. Plus, I like how this looks where it has something on the back to kind of just finish it all off. that's a Karen's way of doing it.
It's the way I found online from someone else.
Yeah, but still, it's the way she taught me. And that's the way that I do it. All in all, the kit's really good. I had other critiques, but they're not that important. Oh, if you're worried about the ink coming off, whenever this was going through this process of taking the ink out of the cloth, the blue lines that did the grid seeped into the yellow and orange and were really, really prominent. More prominent than if I had just not done it. And I was freaking out. I was like, this better work. This better work. And literally all I did is I filled the sink up with some warm water, threw this in there, made sure it sunk to the bottom, and then left it for 15 minutes. I kept coming back and checking on it. But at the end of the 15 minutes, it was all out, didn't stain the DMC thread. So, well done for that one. I don't know where you got that dye, but that's awesome. But the kit on the whole is really good. It's really good for beginners. One of the things that they asked was they were like, what would you like to see in a future kit? Like, what theme would you like? And I was like, in a future kit, I think it'd be really good to go over back stitching and 3/4 stitches to do like maybe a little bit more advanced. And then I realized that they meant like theme as in like the stitch patterns. And I was like, oh, galactic, sure, that's a theme. Do that one. But anyway, I sent all of my critiques and qualms back to them. And I honestly think that they're taking them seriously. I mean, because of the fact that they reached out to us, said, hey, we'll give you the money and you can buy one of our kits.
And the only reason they did that is because they're in Ireland, and it was just an easier way to get it shipped directly to me.
In saying that, they did not pay us for it. They just paid us for the kit itself so we could get a kit. But it's a really good starter kit. If you have somebody in your life that you want to teach how to cross stitch, or like you have a niece or a nephew or a grandchild or a child who's like, what are you doing, mom or dad? And how does this work? And you want to get them introduced into cross stitch, I think this is a great kit for it. You might want to replace some things like the needle or...
Also, you didn't mention the needle threader, but you really enjoyed using the needle threader.
Yes! Oh! They have 2 needle threaders in this kit. They have 2 needles and 2 needle threaders. And this is my first time using a needle threader. I didn't even know... Well, I vaguely knew that they existed because my mom's shown me them because I think she has some. I still, in my personal stitching, like, I went back to stitching on my Erebor. I didn't use the needle threader even though I should because the needle's smaller. But, that needle threader... makes it so easy to thread a needle for someone with big honking meat fingers. So yeah, that was really good. I really enjoyed doing that for the first time. But yeah, I'm not going to stitch on another one of their patterns for a little while because I have enough to work on. And we had ice this week and I was stuck inside, so I stitched this all in one day, which was a bad idea. Oh, this was the other issue because this was printed. So flossers, stitchers, embroiderers, peoples of the internets. I don't know about you, but the reason I love cross stitching is because as I stitch, it appears on the fabric. And that looks cool. You can't really fix this issue, but it was just something I noticed. It made it harder to stitch this. Because it was printed, it was harder to want to stitch it because I'm like, I'm just filling in. I'm not, like, I know what it's going to look like.
So basically diamond painting would not be for you.
No. Some people love it. I'm not knocking it. It's not for me. Because I'm like, I can see the picture. Which I realize you can't do. But then on that same token, once it's stitched, you don't have the pattern anymore. I mean, you kind of do, but you don't really have the pattern anymore. And so I put that in there like, hey, you might want to put that in your book, in the booklet, is the actual pattern for this if they want to stitch it again. I don't think I ever will. I might. It's a really good, simple pattern, but anyway, all of my qualms have been sent to the company, but overall, I'm still really impressed with the company, with the kit. It's all really nice. And yeah, that is my unpaid for review. I don't even want to call it an advertisement because I was knocking it 90% of the time. I still think it's a really good kit. I'm still going to stitch some more of it. I love their hoops are so beautiful. But there were some things. It feels like it's in the beta version, or like
it's their first kit.
Yeah,
they've released.
Well, I mean, it seems like it's like they haven't sent it out to a lot of people to look at it yet.
Well, they're trying to.
Yeah. So anyway.
So giveaway. The winner is, I didn't write it down, but I remember. Lisa from Forest City Stitching. She wanted this one. So I will mail this out to you. I have her address.
Did she just want the pattern?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I will get that in the mail to you.
Congratulations! Woo!
Life updates. I feel like we've gone over most of it. It snowed and sleeted and ice.
It did not snow. It did not snow. That was just sleet.
But didn't it snow sometime before then? Like...
Not since the last video.
Okay, I thought it snowed another Sunday.
We just got sleet. It was the worst. Sleet is horrible. I don't like it. I don't like it when it ices. When it snows, I'm fine. If it's freezing rain or sleet, I hate it. Because you can't really do anything. And the roads are atrocious. Oh, it was bad.
Jason's had a really busy week, but he also got a lot of stitching done too, so that's good.
Yeah, one of my coworkers got let go at work, and so I took on some of their responsibilities, even though I'm technically not qualified. I'm learning on the job, like all jobs, I'm guessing. All the jobs I've had have been that way. So I've been doing that. Your identity got stolen. Back at least sometime before February 3rd. So, because that's when it happened.
Someone used my identity to buy a bunch of phones and start a phone plan. We got a bill for it, so then we called, and that's how we discovered it. And
I'm really grateful because it came in a package where it was from AT&T. We don't use AT&T, and Karen was like, "Oh, it's just a
junk mail."
It's
but
junk
he looked
mail.
at it, and
I opened it and looked at it. Thankfully, I thought it was junk mail too, but when I looked at it, I was like, "This looks like it's an actual bill." It wasn't a bill. It was just a statement. But still, it was one of those things where I called them, and sure enough, somebody had created a plan for her, so we had to call the cops and.
Fraudler on my account, my whatever credit account.
Credit score.
I don't know. Anyways, so that was a mess, but Jason took care of it. Thank you, Jason.
This week was rough.
It was a long week.
And I missed one of my D&D days because of the sleet. Mm-hmm. Not good. Though I kind of needed it because I needed that night off.
You had a busy week. But overall, things are going well. And we're doing lots of stitching, and watch for the video about the animal faces and the new tutorials. Because
that should be coming out this week?
Next week.
Next week? Yeah. Well, when this is... Well, you typically post this today. So, yeah, it'd be next week.
So, hopefully, before the end of the month, I will have those all up.
You should. You're doing good on it.
I'm almost done.
This is a very big project. When it hits, you guys will see. It's a very big project. So...
And I think that's all for us.
I'm super proud of you.
Oh, thanks. So happy
stitching! Bye! Bye!